like that. Maintenance time again. This time we're going to do some serious maintenance. It's the fourth summer with this thing, so I took the shocks out. I'm going to get all four shocks rebuilt. They've lost some of their shock. Just checking on the belt and the clutch. Belt seems to be fine. Clutch is clutching. That's what the CV Tech sounds like, so you got to get used to it. I got a leaky rear seal on the rear diff again, so the rear diff is going to come out and I'm going to change that seal up. Little twig there. So I'll take that out and I'll re-grease the bearings while I'm at it. I put the stock muffler on because I've been running roads and trails this spring. It's not exactly warm out yet. We're into June now. In fact, it was 8 degrees and pouring rain today. So that's what our weather's been like. So just draining out the diff. I don't know if you can see the pad thickness there, but these are EBC pads. Put them in about probably about 400 kilometers ago, and they're holding up so far. I changed the front diff seal was leaking. I changed that about a month ago, a couple rides ago, and it's holding up. Put the LED Mercy lights on. The pipe wrap seems to be holding up so far. I've lost a little bit of power with the stock muffler on, but that's nothing. This thing still goes pretty good. So I'm going to continue taking the rear diff out. Got to take the bracket off, and then the other bolts, and then this bolt here on the yoke. Pop these axles out. I'm going to take the swing arm, trailing arm out. Make sure that that's all nicely greased up still. Just got to take this big rod out, goes right through. So in order to take the trailing arm off, like I said, that nut will come off. I've got to take the sway bar off, get the arm off. And these are 15 mil. And you might want to plug your ears there just for a second. And the compressor kicks in. And 15/16 works also for this. I'll get it moving, and maybe the impact will pick it up. Well, the nut fell off the other side, so that works too. And I did grease this, so it does come out nice and easy. And there is a spacer on this end, so just remember that. There we go. There's a trailing arm. All right, who's taking bets on the axle? Think she's just gonna pop out? Knuckle feels good. Like that. That's how they're supposed to come out. If you take them out every once in a while and clean them up, you shouldn't have an issue. Alright, my little greaser. I believe I got this from Steve Leach on Facebook on one of the sites. About $50, just a machine. You can get them pretty much anywhere. Check eBay, wherever, but they're kind of size specific. This one fits the Outlander. I'm still running the synthetic BRP grease. So about 10 pumps. And that was, I guess it's been about a year and a half since I've done it. You see a little bit of grease coming around the outside between the ring and the collar. That doesn't mean that you've blown the seal on the bearing. That just means it's coming out around the edge. It's not coming out through the seal. So I did 18 pumps on the stock the year after. I guess it was about a year. 18 pumps on it. So they don't put much in on stock. So it's a good bet to check them out. Make sure they're greased up. I am back on the other side now. I'll put a little bit of grease. I'm going to grease up the sway bar. It's going to need a little bit. Like I said, there's not much grease that actually goes in there. If you watch my grease video or my sway bar bushing change video, you'll see. So I'm going to do this again just to see that one. That's how it should come apart. To just drop off like that. Nope. There's little spacers that hold against the bearings on the arms. And those will fit in there. Now, once again, we're taking bets. Just push in and pull out. Yeah, I'll show you one thing here. All right, take a look in here. This is the rear diff on the axle. There's that dust cover that everybody talks about. The dust cover, dirt gets in here obviously, but the dust cover keeps it in here. So all that dirt just sits in there and wears against stuff. So I just might take the dust covers off the back while I'm at it. It's not a bad idea. Let it open up so it rinses out. They're not going to wear the seals, but you never know what could wear. Just a little thought anyways. Okay, I got to put the plugs back in the rear diff. And I'll take this trailing arm right out and I can get at that bolt on the yoke a lot better. And when you got your axles out, check and make sure that they rotate without clunking or they're nice and smooth. You can check for cracks in the boot. Everything looks good. So we're still good with that one. All right, putting the plug back in, putting the bottom plug in. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Nice and easy. You don't have to crank these. Snug a little bit and it's going to stay. It's not going to come out. Same with the top one. It'll actually almost feels like it seals itself once you get it in there. Make sure it's not cross-fitted. Make sure you still got the little brass ring in there. It's like a gasket, you know, a little like that, and that's good. And then when you take that off, it'll feel actually a lot harder. Feel like you cranked it a lot more. Okay, now so we got to take these. There should be 6 bolts here. 5 anyways, and then there's 4 up on the back plate here. I think these are 15s and these are 13s. Yeah, this bolt's always fun. This is where a ratchet head wrench comes in handy. Not a whole lot you can get on this. And once this is out, I'm still going to have to move this diff back. So I'll just pull it right out. Normally to get the drive shaft out, you only have to move this back an inch maybe. Take the bolts out and slide it back, and you can leave the axles and everything on. The bolt is out. Okay, like I said, these are 13s. Now we're going to do some 15s. Like that. Just all falls apart. Now the rear diff should pull right out. Just like that. And I'll point out once again that these bellows, when you get stuff jammed in between the axle and the bellow and it wears on the bellow, and then you get a hole in the bellow and you don't know you have a hole in the bellow, and then you get water in your diff, that's another story. Alright, so has it been leaking? I can't tell, but we're going to clean her all up. Definitely got oil down in the pan here. There's your rear yoke, and I just put a wear ring on, so it's perfectly good. I put a brand new yoke on. So that's all good. Clean some stuff out of here. bellows is wearing, hasn't worn through yet, but it's getting there. I'm gonna go with the stock seal again. Now once I get the old one out, I can flip it over and use that to pound this one in flush. Little screw and crank her off. Looks pretty good in there. Everything's still tight. This is the mud and wheels diff. Just gonna put a tiny little bit of grease around the outside here to get it to set in. They already come with, you can see in here, they already come with the grease around there. Okay, once I get it started, ow. Yeah, it seems pretty flush. And that's about the thickness of the flange, so that sits right there. I'll put a little bit of grease around these seals when I put the axles back in. Okay, I got red Loctite on the bolt. And this is about the hardest part. Just getting the bolt back in there to start to thread. Well, it took quite a bit of play to get this thing finally in, but you put these two bolts in to hold the diff level, and you gotta pull this back out a little bit, and it'll finally go. Just putting a thin layer of grease on there just to help with the rusting a little bit. It's not going to stay on very well anyways, but just reversing everything that I did, taking everything off. So make sure the splines are gonna go in. It's all the way in. And that's what it looks like without the dust cap. So I'm gonna try it without the dust cap. I mean, the dust cap let all that dirt in, so it doesn't seem to work that good anyways. So we're just gonna put the other axle in and then put the arm back on, tie everything up, put the bolt back in for the arm, grease that up a little bit, and then hopefully she'll be good. Then I gotta wait for the shocks to get fixed, reserviced, and then we'll be back together. Alright, so I put a little bit of white lithium grease on there, you can see, just on the splines and everything. And I've done the same to the big bolt, the white lithium grease on there. helps it from corroding, and it's a lot easier to take out later. Can't go too far in though, because the other arm has to fit right there too. This is where two people would come in handy. One to feed this through, and the other one to line up the arm on the other side. But I think I got it started anyways. Put the brake line back on here before we forget. Now that can be tightened up.